entry that allows for someone to start a transition. Vicar Tim did that in the very beginning, really a long time ago when he was working with Pastor Becky and Pastor James. I don't know what year that was. But as he was fully accepted then into the team program, it was Zion in Sutton who accepted him as a student and essentially paid his fees to get his education in return for being their minister, preaching for them, and giving him a student stipend or a student salary. So for the last number of years, he's been at Zion while they have been essentially paying for his education and giving him that stipend while he's been serving that church. As it comes time for him to be ordained, typically a team candidate would then make a commitment to stay with the church that had sponsored them for a set number of time. Usually that expectation is anywhere from 2 to 5 years. It is left for negotiation. However, we had something unusual happen a couple of years ago here, right at the beginning of COVID, actually just before it, when we needed a minister, we needed an intern, and we went into a process, we all jokingly called it Rent a Vicar, because we went to Zion and they basically said, yeah, you can use him part of the time. He was still technically, and even right now, is still technically called to, as a team member, is still at Zion. And we are renting him. There's not a better way to say that. We pay a portion of what Zion pays him. Technically, he is not on our payroll. We pay Zion. He is on Zion's payroll. So understanding a little bit of those pieces on how it comes together. So typically in a call process, there's this huge, and I know many of you have been through it before, where you do site profiles and you do meetings and you do call prayers. And not that those things aren't necessary, but that within a team, typically the vicar or the person you're talking about is already associated and involved with the church. So we have that benefit where even though he's technically still a vicar at Zion, he has been with us and preaching and ministering with us for a couple of years. So we have that understanding of him. So all of that set aside, so you have an understanding of the team process. When he is called, when he is ordained, he will then be called. He can only be called by one church, and because of the way the team is set up, it needs to be Zion. So we are going into a process where we have been meeting with the Zion congregation to talk about what does the sharing relationship we have moving forward look like when he's ordained. And basically, we've decided that should both congregations choose to call him, it will look very similar to the way that it is now, in that we will still be essentially sharing the minister. There's still a few details to work out on who he will be employed by. There's some insurance issues that were the same as what we had before that we're trying to find ways to work around, but the process will essentially be the same, that both congregations will be sharing. Where his time is split 75-25%, the ideal would be 1/3 and 2/3, and that is what both congregations have decided on for a pay structure. So all that being said, I will read the actual resolution to consider from the Synod, and then we can have discussion. The vicar, Tim Stacy, shall be called to serve as pastor at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church. The initial compensation for the pastor will be $63,275 plus benefits, where he will be maintaining his own home and responsible for his own utilities. In addition, the following benefits and expenses and conditions will apply. participation in an ELCA Portico benefits program for retirement, standard vacation and work days, and professional and continuing education expenses not to exceed $13.50 a year. That is the resolution that we're voting on. Is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, you have your ballot in hand. Please make your vote. They'll be coming around with plates to collect. For those people at home, we will have voting available until 11 a.m. You can, if able, come into the office and pick up a ballot. If unable, pull up to the curb, call the office, and we will bring a ballot out to you. That was the only agenda item on, for the meeting today. So if there are no other items brought from the congregation, we will close. Are there any other items? Okay. Let's close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done